I'm going to show you how to create a block repeat pattern using Procreate in a lino print style. So you can see here I started with a sketch which was made into a block repeat, which repeats. I then added a coloured background. I then created a new layer and called it ink, and then picked the ink up roller to cover the entire pattern tile. This, if you hold down the brush, hold it down, hold your pen down so you don't lift, and just cover the whole tile. This brush is actually set to repeat, so we don't have to worry about it now. It's now a repeat, that layer. Then go to your drawing guides and pick vertical in the symmetry. Make sure it's on, and then bring the opacity down so you can see the drawing beneath the ink layer. Then pick the dusty edge lino brush and set it to an eraser mode, and then you begin to erase areas in the similar motion of using a lino cut tool. You just use the short strokes, and that way you're sort of creating that authenticity more with your carving. You're basically carving now back into a piece of lino, and that gives that authentic look to the end design. And you continue to go all the way around and keep checking your design. So turn the drawing off, turn the eye off, the visibility, and then just check to see what's happening. You don't go over the edges with the eraser, so keep away from all of those edges around the square and just keep working in the center. We'll work on those empty areas when we turn it into a block repeat, but for now just keep working on the center areas and keep checking the work as you go. Then we duplicate the pattern groups into 4, so duplicate 4 so that we can turn it inside out. So turn all the eyes off and then grab one and send it to the top left corner. If you've got your magnetic controls on, which I suggest you do, you will then see and feel the block snap as it sort of hits that central area, and you'll also see the orangey guidelines and what you'll need to see them crossing. So you'll need to see a vertical and a horizontal so that you know you've got the snap center. You might have to do this 1 or 2 times to make sure you've got no gaps appearing, hard lines. That's why I'm zooming in to check that there's no hard lines, so that you know that it is actually repeating. So what you're basically doing here is turning the design inside out to then be able to access the center to start erasing again. So what we're creating here is a block repeat. So this is a block repeat that we're creating here. So we now need to reduce the layers and put everything onto one layer again. So we need to undo all of the little groups we've created and drag that ink layer into the first layer, first group, as you can see that I'm doing there on screen. And then once you've got them all in there, just pinch them together to make one layer, and then do the same for your drawing layer. As you can see, I've got this pattern test layer in there. That's just something I was playing with, so you probably won't have that. But I'll just drag them all into the one group and then squish them all down. And this reduces my layer count as well. So we have to be mindful of that as well. Sometimes we can run out of layer options. So this is just keeping everything tidy, making it all into one group, and then delete the empty groups by swiping left and delete, left and delete. We can now start carving the center of the design. So make the ink layer opaque and then go back and pick your dusty lino brush and make it an eraser, and then begin to erase the centre of the pattern tile. As you can see there, that's what I'm doing. I'm turning the drawing on and off so I can go in and check maybe a little bit freehand. You don't always have to follow your drawing if you want to just carry on. So here I'm testing the pattern to make sure there's no gaps. So what I need to do is I'm just duplicating my original pattern group 4 more times. So you can see here, pattern group to test. I'll then duplicate that 4 times. And turn the eyes off, and then move the, I'm basically reducing them, so I'm taking the little bar at the side, the little corner, and dragging it up so it snaps too. So you're basically reducing the size, but you can keep zooming in to see, and at that point if you've got any gaps, then that's when you need to readdress your pattern, something has gone wrong. So next is the colourways. I've created a little colour palette based on William Morris colours, and I want some options, some different colourways. So I'm duplicating my pattern tile 3 times. So you can see there, pattern tile 1, 2 and 3. Then for each pattern tile, so pattern tile 1 will have a new layer underneath and above it, so it's being sandwiched. Pattern tile 1 will be called underneath pattern tile 1 ground, so that'll be the ground colour, and then pattern tile 1 will be the colour layer, and I will make that a clipping mask so that it can clip onto the original colour, as you'll see as I go along. So then I get a ground colour on the ground, and then go to my pattern tile and drag a colour across. As you can see, it's been created as a clipping mask, and then I squish them together and then call it a name. And I'm going to do this 3 times, so if you wanted to slow the video down to watch what I'm doing in better detail at your own pace, then please do. I will provide this colour palette that you can go and download, so if you look in the description below you'll be able to find the links to it so that you can have this colour palette. It's sort of reminiscent of William Morris, and I think it's really quite nice to use. It helps keeps a uniformity to your design work if you work from a colour palette, especially if you're wanting to replicate this kind of work. So to save your colourways, what I tend to do is go to the spanner and click on the little export button, and then I can save in various formats. So you can see here I'm mainly saving as a PNG or a JPEG, whatever it is I want. And as I click save, it will save to my, it saves into my photo area. Or you can pick a file that you want to save. So you can quite easily and quickly, you see there in the gallery, save your colourways that you can then upload and use on somewhere like Spoonflower or somewhere like that. So that's how I make a 2-colour lino style repeat in Procreate. Roll the ink, then carve the design with my lino brushes as an eraser. The brushes are linked in the description below, and you can grab the colour palette from this pattern for free through my newsletter link. If this helped, please like the video and tell me in the comments what you'd make with this technique. and thank you for watching.